everybody. Welcome back to the Angel Angle. This is your podcast for everything Angels baseball. My name is Brandon. This is my dad, Mike. And you're on the Angel Angle again. We're going to try and make it around 20 minutes again. We're going to make it quicker for you guys because no one wants to sit through 45 minutes of two idiots talking back and forth to each other. All right.
I resemble that remark.
I don't resemble it at all. And here we go. Angels on the East Coast in Boston. I wanted to jump off a cliff. I think every single Angel fan wanted to jump off a cliff. We could have swept Boston easily. We could have swept them. Every single game was really close, which is a plus. But the downside is that we lost 3 out of 4, and it wasn't due to the fact that the Red Sox outplayed us in any of those 3 games that we lost. The reason why we lost all 3 of those games was because of what?
We served it up defensively.
Defensive errors. I think Rendon had 2 throwing errors in one game. Then we had a Rengifo error. And then there was a pass ball by Ohapi. It might have been called out pitch, but I think Ohapi should have had it.
Double.
I've never seen 2 catcher's interferences in the same inning. That was literally insane. And then we had more defensive. Oh, and then Brett Phillips getting picked off of second base.
Yeah.
In the other game. To sum it up, basically we could have won just about all. We could have swept Boston, but we didn't. And it's just frustrating because the Angels could be.
It felt like the Toronto series. It felt like a lot of series we've had.
Yeah, so far the Angels this year.
They like to serve it up. We're very generous.
I don't think there has been a non-stress.
There
has not been a non-stressful game ever since we faced Oakland. That when we crushed them like 13-1, or whatever it was. In my opinion, there has not been a single game where I've been like, "Oh, this is fun to watch." No, every game has been a mental breakdown.
The one game we thought when we had a 6-0 lead that was comfortable.
Toronto. That is correct. I was feeling pretty comfortable at the 6-0 lead, and we also blew that one. So the Angels this year have not been fun. Let me rephrase that. They've been very fun to watch this year. I've been having a lot of fun.
You mean that 3 times I've had to call an ambulance for cardiac arrest?
Besides the mental breakdowns we have, it just makes you want to jump off a bridge. So, the Angels in Boston was not a good series. Any thoughts about the Angels in Boston?
Can we just talk about the good stuff?
Yeah, we can talk about the good stuff.
Because I think at this point, we've all had our fill of the bad stuff.
This is going to be your podcast to feel good about being an Angels fan. And one good thing is that the Angels have recalled Zach
Neto.
Not Neto. Neto.
Well, that was Neto, though. Bring to Zach Neto.
Okay,
but guess who they had to?
Oh yeah, that is big. That is big news, and this is big. So if you're not very familiar with how maybe options work, they went to bring up Zach. They had to send down someone. They decided to send down David Fletcher. It makes sense. He has been scuffling. All right, he has been scuffling with. There is a log jam in the infield. You have Urshela, Drury, Rengifo. You had Fletcher. You have all these guys who can play
and the
all
defense at
positions.
short hadn't been good. Whoever they were putting in there it wasn't. That's I think was part of the reasoning.
Well, it's because you just couldn't trust Fletcher's bat in the lineup. Because Fletcher, out of all those guys, is probably the best defense, hands wise, not arm wise.
Yeah, no.
Fletcher is the best
because of his bat. They weren't using him
exactly,
right?
And you need some good defense at short. And Neto has been.
And then they had Rengifo, but when Rengifo played third or short, he's just not consistent.
And Neto has looked really, really good at shortstop. He's already made a lot of really good plays at shortstop.
And his bat's come to life today.
And his bat came to life today. Yeah. I mean, it's not like he hasn't been hitting the ball hard. He's been actually hitting the ball pretty hard. It's just a matter of, maybe hitting it right at guys, all that good stuff. But some bad calls in Boston.
I've always said, if we're going to struggle or a position's going to struggle, I always prefer to watch a young kid develop than having a veteran that might be done.
It is sad though, because Angel fans, no matter how bad he's doing, you love David Fletcher because he's David Fletcher. But here's the interesting part: the Angels did not send him down. He had options. They did not just send him down; they DFA'd him,
removed him from the 40-man roster.
He is no longer on the 40-man roster, which
means to bring him back, they're going to have to take somebody off the 40-man.
Which is their 40-man full?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. With doing this, I don't know who did they add.
But it would have to be Zach.
Was Neto That was not Neto, not in the 40-man?
I have no clue.
I don't know either. I didn't look
We
that up.
probably should have looked it up beforehand. But as you know, this Angel
We're
Angle
really smart.
podcast is the best podcast on planet Earth. But anyways, it's very sad. It does not mean that David Fletcher is gone from the team. It is surprising. I mean, honestly, look, I understand he has a contract, but the contract's really, really small. It's like $5-6 million a year. I know it's for like the next couple of years.
Yeah.
And I know how bad he's hitting right now, a lot of teams don't really want that. But I mean, if I was like a really bad team, or maybe even like a middle of the road team, and there's a David Fletcher, and you can eat $5-6 million for the next 2 years. There's a lot of potential in David Fletcher, so I'm surprised he cleared it.
I'm not. It's too early in the season for somebody to take that kind of gamble. If it's later in the season and someone needed that defense, I think it's too early. That's why they took that chance. I think the Angels knew no one was going to take them, and if they did, I think they were like, okay, great, it saves us $5-6 million we can use at the trade deadline or whatever. But
it would have just been very sad.
No, either way. I mean, I hope he comes back. I hope he figures it out. He needed time. First of all, he's not going to figure it out when they're playing him once, twice a week.
Yeah, he needs daily at bats.
He needs daily at bats, and maybe a few months. I think he needs a few months down there working with. We've got some good coaches down there. We've had some guys go down and come back a lot different.
And they're a whole new man.
So hopefully he gets down there and figures out the old David Fletcher, because he didn't look good in the WBC. His brother ran circles around him batting wise in the WBC. He didn't look good then. Then he gets to the Angels and he has not looked good. So, I think something had to be done. I don't think that's the only move. I mean, it's still early. I think we forget we're only in our third week now of baseball.
Every game's important.
But it is. But at the same time, you've got to be a little bit patient.
When we lose a game, the sky's falling.
It is. Well, we know that. Just look at any of the fan sites. I mean, basically everybody's ready to self-implode and it's over. And I'm
all you guys on Facebook need to calm down, all right?
I mean,
I'm talking to you on Facebook. You need to calm it down.
But the bottom line is, so let's talk about the positive. We said we're going to talk about the positive because we already know the negatives. It's been rough. But if there's been some positive, I think first positive is ugly in as many games as we've dished out as free gifts for Christmas.
Yes.
We're still 500.
Well, you're still 500.
And that's saying something considering the fact that does it even feel like we're 500? Not to me. I feel like we're like last year. I feel like we're like 5 games under 500. Yeah. So I keep looking up going, I don't even know how we're 500. And, I know no one wants Texas ahead of us, but, there's always going to be those. Remember, the first 2 months to me are not always a true sign of the good teams.
Obviously,
we've had good teams. We've had good teams that, I mean, look at you got Houston's not playing well.
When the Nationals won the World Series, they had a horrible record.
No, but I'm just saying, look
Phillies
down the line at all the
record
teams that are supposed to be doing great and aren't playing well right now. That happened, and then you're going to have teams playing way over their head. What was it, a year ago or two, when Seattle had that first great month and then fell off the map, and everybody was like, "How are they winning?" Those are going to happen. So, if we could just keep around 500 until we figure things out, what it is you look at it. The first couple series, it was our bullpen, just blowing games left and right.
Now it's the offense.
Then we all of a sudden had a complete destruction of defense.
Yeah.
And now our offense with runners in scoring position the last few games has been horrific.
Hey, what happened to the positives?
But then all of a sudden, no. What I'm saying, this is the positive. The positive is our bullpen has actually looked really good.
I trust, and then I want to go back into one of those Angel angles when I said the bullpen's going to be really good, because I know I said it. I know I said the bullpen was going to be really good. I know it is.
Okay, let's not overhype.
I think the best bullpen.
I think it's going to be serviceable. This is my thing. This looks more like we expected them to be, but they still make me nervous. It's not like a bullpen where you got some hard throwers and
Oh no! Any guy they bring, I'm nervous when they bring.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, this isn't one of these bullpens where you're like, oh, we're bringing so and so in. Flip the channel. I'm going to watch something else for a while. I know this is done. I flipped a channel because I'm afraid to see what's going to happen.
Yet, I'm sure as the season goes along, we're going to have that. We're going to have a couple of guys who are going to kind of break out this season. We're going to bring them in and be like, okay, the game's good. Yeah. It's just too early yet. We just don't know, because we've had good Jimmy Herget, and we've also had bad Jimmy Herget in the past. We've had good Andrew Wants. We've had bad Andrew Wants. We've had good Jose Quijada. We've had bad Jose Quijada. Good Aaron Loop. But no, beside what you guys believe, there is a good Aaron Loop and a bad Aaron Loop.
1 inning. Yeah, he had 1 good inning.
It counts. So that's what I'm saying. So right now it's so early in the year, I get a little nervous when they bring out anybody.
No,
but I'm sure as the season goes
100%.
along, there's going to be those guys who are going to stand out. And then when they come in, we'll hopefully we'll have people in the pen when we bring them out. We'll be like, okay, the game's good. But really, really rough series in Boston. The highlight is us promoting Zach Neto. Looks very, very good. He looks like a major league kind of player. He doesn't look too nervous out there.
No, and I think, he started off rough batting average wise, like you said, he hit some balls hard. He did strike out a bit, but the rest of our lineup strikes out a bit. We strike out a lot. We're just a strikeout team, I've realized. But that doesn't matter, because what matters is can you do something with runners in scoring position? I know we weren't going to be negative, and I'm not, but that's now our new problem. So look, we've had 3 things not working. If we can actually get now, after we've had 3 things go wrong, the only thing that's really been really consistent other than Suarez and maybe 1 outing from Anderson has been our starting pitching has been decently solid.
It's been good.
So, when you compare it to everybody else out there, we've been just as good. So
we've been blessed.
We've been blessed, and that has probably been the best thing. So maybe, just maybe, and what series are we going into after this year?
So this is what I was going to talk to you about.
Yes.
This is what after tomorrow.
This is
after today's game.
More
you guys are
positive.
watching this today. Today will be our final game in New York. We're facing Nasty Nestor.
And we're throwing Anderson. Makes me
No.
We're not.
Sandoval.
Oh, we are.
Uh-huh.
I thought it was Anderson's turn. That was.
I thought it was
super nervous.
I thought it was too, but it's Sandy.
Okay, I feel a little better about Sandy going.
Those are 2 lefties.
Yeah.
They're going to duke it out.
Yeah.
And it'll be a fun game. Nasty Nestor is very good, but Patrick's also very good. I want to see Patrick get deep into a game because so far he's been battling himself a lot.
It's the usual. That's the one. That's his Achilles heel. The guy throws a lot of pitches because I don't know why. He just, to me, I feel like he's always trying to be too fine and strike guys out instead of just let the guy put the ball in play, let your defense do their job and get out of innings with 10, 12 pitches instead of every inning he's throwing 20, 23 pitches and he's done.
It's early. We'll get there.
No, it is.
And but it'll be fun. But this is who the Angels are. If there's one good thing, and think about it this way: if we win tomorrow's game in New York, we split the road trip 3-3.
No.
Yeah, we
no. It's off balance. We'll lose the series
3-4.
3-4.
3-4.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! Sorry guys, I messed that one up.
Yeah. Everybody forgot about that game on Monday in Boston anyway. After we were done, everybody goes, "Oh, we got swept in Boston." I mean, I saw that everywhere. I'm like, we still have Monday.
One.
It was getaway day.
But 3-4 in Boston, New York, ain't bad. I'll take 3-4.
This is the thing. If somehow we come away with a win tomorrow, and I'm nervous about that, but I'm nervous about every game the Angels play. If our bats if we could get some hits with runners in scoring position, then I think we have a chance because poor Sandy never gets run support. So if the guy goes out there and we're getting shut out in the 5th, he tenses up. You need to give him a nice little lead. We need to put like a 4 spot up or something in the 1st.
Yeah,
before the starting pitcher has a chance to settle down, and then we'll never get another hit. But the bottom line is, who do we have? Who do we have coming up in the at-home series?
It is Kansas City.
Yep.
A 3-game set against Kansas City, and then a 4-game set against the Oakland A's.
Yes.
If there is a place and time this month where we are going to get ahead and give ourselves a little bit of a cushion, it is the next 7 games after today's game.
Yep.
I will be, again, live Angel Angle on the Monday game against Oakland, so I'll have that live intake. But yeah, if there's a stretch, if there's a homestand that I think is pretty important for us to do well in, it's the next homestand.
Yeah.
That's the homestand where the Royals look absolutely abysmal. They're 4-12, 4 and something, and the A's are 3 and something.
The A's are 3-16.
And the Royals are what? 4 and...
And the Royals are 4-15.
If there is a series where we need to get ahead, it is this next homestand.
I guess we can turn on the emergency bells and feel like something's really going wrong. If we can't come out of that home series, how many
Well
games is
over
it? 2, 3
500.
games or a 3 and a 4? Oh, it's a 3 and a 4, so it's 7
7
games.
games.
So in a 7-game series, we should be able to go 5-2.
Yeah.
Because you're always going to have that game or two. Doesn't matter. They're all major league teams. They all find a way. I mean, the likelihood if we lost one
Major
in each
League
series,
Baseball players are good.
it just takes one thing going wrong, and we've seen that with you know what? We've had our fair share of ridiculous things. I mean, tonight, Judge,
Robbing
he made two
Ohtani.
plays to Ohtani, right? And then he robbed
Robbing
Drury,
Drury,
who finally looked like he got a hit in an important position, and the poor guy gets robbed again. So when you look at it, I mean, guys are coming close. It looks like guys are starting to figure it out. Our timing's not there. Trout gets called on a third strike on a check swing. Did he go? Doesn't matter. It doesn't. I mean, the bottom line is we got called on it. You can't do anything about it, and we got to figure out a way to put this stuff behind us and move forward. We're at 500, like you said. I think the key is if we can go into that series a game above 500 and go into that 7-game homestand, I think we're in a good place.
If we can leave this road trip 3-4 and then go into that homestand, because after that homestand it gets a little rough.
It does. So
we go on the road to Milwaukee, who has fantastic pitching.
Yes.
And then we go on the road to St. Louis, which while they're struggling right now and they have some clubhouse problems, it's St. Louis.
The thing I hate is I don't like it when we go into teams that have been in long struggles because then they're due and they usually make their due against us.
Yeah.
I'd prefer them to be playing well and then us to bring them down. But yeah, I don't like that when we go into places like Boston wasn't playing well. And of course we had to go in there and really, like you said, we should have won them all. But we didn't, and you know what? They did what they had to do, and they took advantage when we made errors. You got to give them credit. Like I said,
we didn't take advantage when they gave us stuff.
No, we didn't. So that's kind of where we're at with that. So that is definitely, I think, the positives that are coming up is the series coming up. We're at 500, even with everything that's gone wrong. Our bullpen, which to me is the biggest concern. You know the hitting's going to come back around, okay? We know that we're going to start getting the hits, and eventually we're going to have those breakout games. We're not putting the hurt on teams yet because everybody's not firing, and hopefully we get Walshy back soon because I think that makes us deeper.
Even if he's not hitting, it just makes us deeper.
Yeah,
and when you have Walsh hitting
and he's
seventh
a tremendous
6th,
first baseman too.
He's a very good first baseman.
A couple of those plays that weren't made at first on the scoop.
And by the way, I re-looked at those Rendon throwing errors. Both of those, I felt like if we had a really good first baseman.
If Lamb wasn't at first base.
If Lamb wasn't at first base, even if Urshela or Walsh, maybe even Drury was at first base, I feel like those plays are made.
Yeah, can we get on the Lamb subject just for 1 minute?
Sure, you can get on the Lamb subject.
I think this is my thing. We go home. If we go through this home series and he can't figure it out, because they're going to have to make a decision anyway. When Walsh comes back, someone's got to go.
Oh, it's Lamb.
But the thing is he has no option. So that means another one we're going to be sending out. And I agree. So I think that the Lamb experiment, and who knows? I mean, he could be a week away from suddenly hitting again because you're not getting him for his defense. You're getting him for his bat. And that's what you're getting him for. And his bat has shown a few signs, but yeah, he hasn't looked good at first. He's not making plays. He doesn't look pretty over there. We're so used to Walsh and just really good defense, and he hasn't looked good. So to me, he's a bubble guy for me right now.
Well, you want to bring up your guy in the minor leagues who just hit a 487-foot home run in AAA.
And that was my thing. Remember, I talked about Cabbage, and I think was it our last podcast?
Yes, you did, and he made headlines.
And I said, if there was a guy that, if we were going to bring up, I didn't know they were bringing up Neto. I thought the first move might be DFAing Lamb and giving Cabbage a shot. I never thought that they were going to do that to
Fletcher.
But I also knew something had to happen because you knew Fletcher wasn't going to figure it out sitting on the bench. So I'm sad for Fletcher, but I'm glad because if he's going to have some chance to resurrect his career, he needs to go down there and needs to figure out. And it might take, he might be down there half the season, but then all of a sudden he starts getting it together.
Come playoff
he could
time,
be a great spark plug second half.
Yeah,
and there's going to be injuries. Someone's going to get injured, and we're going to need a David Fletcher. But we need the David Fletcher of old that could spray the ball around
Hit anything within a 5-foot vicinity of home plate.
The crazy thing about Fletcher is he takes all the pitches in the strike zone and swings at everything outside. I've never seen anything like it.
He's just off.
He's just off. Like things right down the middle. I'm like, Fletcher, and then it's at his eyes and he hits it. Well,
what happens is that they're jamming fastballs early in the count.
Yeah.
And then you get down, and all of a sudden you're 0-1, it's 1-1, it's 1-2, 0-2. Then you have to expand your zone. Yeah. And that's what happens. But I think it'll be good for him. Trey Cabbage did hit an absolute monster shot. I'm content with where we are. If we were under 500 a lot, I'd be really worried. I'll be honest. I know it's early, and there's teams right now that are under 500 like a lot. They're like they'll be fine.
Yeah.
If it's us under 500 that early, I'm really worried.
Yeah.
I would be. But we're 500 heading into hopefully what is a very good homestand.
Yeah.
And things are looking up in Anaheim. But if there's one thing we've learned is to take it one day at a time and never get your hopes up, everybody.
I'm telling you, it's the Angels. I don't remember a season. It's been such a long time when we've had a season where 2014,
probably 2014,
when we were the best team in baseball, and we cruised into the playoffs. Like you weren't even watching half the games because you knew we were going to win it.
Yeah.
And you'd come up, I'd get home from work, like, oh yeah, we won again. We haven't had a team like that you were just so confident. If we were down 3 runs going late into the game, you're like, yeah, we'll come back. We'll find some way. Boom, we came back some way.
That team
led
the league and comeback
yeah,
wins.
I mean,
too.
we used to have that. And that was a lot of the team in the early 2000s. I mean, from the time we won the World Series up to about 2010, we were in it every year, and you were pretty confident. And it's been a rough last 10 years. And
it's time for us to shine.
It's our turn, and I still know. And again, I've been frustrated with certain things Nevin's done. I've been frustrated with certain things that players have done. There's been frustrations, but like I said, the positive of this whole thing, I don't feel like we're 500, and we are. That's amazing to me.
Yeah.
Because
and our run differential is
and Houston's under 500, so
and
by
Seattle.
Game, and Seattle by 2 or 3 games. So the bottom line is. And can I just tell you this right now? I know everybody that this whole Texas bandwagon thing, I predicted at the beginning of the season, it will not hold. I think they're one of those teams that are going to be, and I'm not saying they're not going to be good and not be in the thick of it and still have a chance late, possibly. But I just don't see anything. They have injuries, they're done. They don't have the depth, and their hitters are hitting over their head. And eventually they're going to tone down. And if any of their pitchers go out and they have a lot of frail pitchers, they're going to be done. They'll go back to the Texas of 500 at best. So I'm not overly worried about Texas. Let them do what they're going to do. The one I'm glad isn't starting off quick is Seattle and Houston.
Well, I hate Seattle. I honestly hate Seattle almost more than Houston at this point.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. We're both not Seattle.
And I used to be an ally.
Yeah.
If there was a team in the AL West that I was an ally of, it was Seattle.
We both were.
Because we felt like it was us and Seattle that were always the disappointments in the division. And we were always those teams that were like, oh, they're just kind of there. Yeah. So we kind of felt like we were the same. After last year, and maybe even the year before that, I do not like Seattle.
After DePoto went there and
he
imploded the Angels. He ruined our minor league system. He made some of the stupidest moves ever. He signed some garbage people. And then came out
C.J. Wilson.
And he left us with a disaster and then moved on. And
C.J. Wilson.
C.J.
Wilson.
There is still no
the best pitcher in
there.
Angels history. C.J. Wilson.
Yeah, well, so we've got things excited about. And quickly, the Yankees, how about that whole thing with Shohei Ohtani? Because, everybody wants Shohei Ohtani. So Judge's little comment, and everybody, he made that comment about Shohei getting that home run on opening, because that was the 100th anniversary to the day when Babe Ruth did the same thing on opening night in the original Yankee Stadium, and then Shohei does it in the first inning. And so, because, they, of course, everybody wants Shohei. Every town he goes into, it's like, oh, everybody's salivating. So I just say we'll enjoy Shohei while we have Shohei.
Don't talk about Shohei Ohtani. All right, everybody. That's been another rendition of the Angel Angle. Remember, go get a hobby. Stop listening to the podcast. Get off your screens. Go step outside.
Outside?
Yeah, go
step outside. The weather looks good out there right now. Well, we're in Southern California too, so it's been nice.
Yeah, to the two other people watching this, I'm assuming you're also in Southern California. So
No, we have tons of fans on the East Coast.
you're right.
We have Yankee fans.
We are a big East Coast podcast, aren't we?
I can just imagine if one of those
All right, everybody.
watched us. All right, guys.
Thanks for watching. Kiss
Have
your
a
mother.
good night. Bye.